Thanks for tuning in to Red Belt Radio. The following episode is scheduled for one fall. I'm Jason, and this show is dedicated to World Wonder Ring Stardom. Today I'm covering Stardom's Nagoya Big Winter 2023, which took place on December 2nd. This show was in the unfortunate position of following up Stardom's November 28th appearance at Korakuen Hall, which proved to be one of their greatest shows of the year, an unmitigated success and revival for the company, and an emotional high that wouldn't easily be topped. Nagoya Big Winter could not escape from Korakuen Hall's gigantic shadow and ultimately took us to some strange places. Let's go over my thoughts, including some of my grievances. If you find these transmissions valuable, please give this a like, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment to let me know what you think. The following contains spoilers for Nagoya Big Winter 2023 and Stardom's November 28th Korakuen Hall show. I highly recommend that November 28th show, by the way. It made me extraordinarily happy, and I will probably be mentioning that show throughout this transmission. With that out of the way, the opening tag team match of Nagoya Big Winter between our newest rookie, the unaligned Yuzuki, and Mina Shirakawa of Club Venus against the opponents Miyu Amasaki of Queen's Quest and the unaligned Hanako mostly served to remind me that Stardom has too many wrestlers in creative limbo right now. We know by now that Mina Shirakawa was more or less cheated out of Korakuen's Red Belt tournament by Oedo Tai in her match with Momo Watanabe, and this now leaves her with very little to do. Her lack of positioning or narrative relevance since Mariah May's departure is slightly baffling, especially since her faction, Club Venus, is so down on members. At the least, Mina should be on a campaign to bring wrestlers into her squad, which story-wise could put her in conflict with the other factions she's trying to poach individuals from. And moreover, these rookies should be joining teams of their own, or at least getting very close to doing so. Why don't we have people feuding over who will get to recruit Hanako, for instance? For context, Hanako debuted on March 25th of this year. That's far enough back that Himeka was still in Stardom, for crying out loud. And over that span of nearly 9 months, Hanako has not been officially picked up. I find all of this to be quite strange. Mai Sakurai vs. Ruaka was an entertaining match, but I don't think anyone really knows why it took place as a singles match for this pay-per-view. Both wrestlers currently find themselves out of the mix, with nothing lined up for Grand Queendom, unless Sakurai's artist belt will be getting defended. I feel like Stardom should already have a strong idea of what they want to do with her ladyship as they move into 2024. But there's no reason yet to think that is the case. We move on to the first really fun tag team match of the card, when the only active Cosmic Angels members, Yuna Mizumori and Saori Ano, bested the New Blood Tag Champions Hanan and Saya Ida. Yuna and Saori were wrestling like they had something to prove, and their timing and intensity really landed. I guess because Saori would be making another appearance later in the night, she wanted to make sure she left an impression with the crowd. Which reminds me, the crowd was also quite strange. November 28th's Korakuen crowd, one of the best Stardom audiences of the year, more than puts Nagoya's to shame. How could so many people be so asleep at a Stardom show? It boggles the mind. It was really nice to see Thekla get a stab at Mei Sarah's high-speed title, and both were sporting new gear to this fight. There is a dynamic between these wrestlers that I think will really work well the next time they tangle with each other. Thekla is the dangerous predator who is toying with and sometimes outright chasing Mei Sarah down. Their match was solid, but I feel like now that they are more familiar with each other, they'll be able to do some great stuff from here on. One of my main questions going into Big Winter surrounded Mirai's white belt. As she took the ring with Ami Sourei and Shuri to face Oedo Tai's Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Starlight Kid, I felt like the stage was set to generate either an SLK, or even an Ami Sourei, or even a Shuri title defense for Dream Queendom. Strangely enough, the company has passed on all of these options, which became clear when Saori Ano paid Mirai a visit after the match. That's right, there will be an immediate white belt championship rematch. I'm not sure I've seen a challenger ever receive an immediate rematch before, and to be honest, I don't know why it's happening now. Strange stuff. I don't really get the sense that Stardom wants Mirai to give up the belt anytime soon, and we just saw these two go at it for 30 straight minutes. Could Stardom be trying to pad Mirai's title defense number in order to reach a particular milestone? We have to keep in mind that the roster is not all at full strength, and Dream Queendom needs the white belt on their card. So maybe this was something of a desperation judgment call. Either way, Saori and Mirai are both great, and I believe they'll make a good story out of this. I honestly don't have much to say about the UWF rules match between Nanae Takahashi and Scandinavian Hurricane, but I like that these match types do break up the normalcy of the cards they're on. Once again, we have a point system that factors in for a little while, up until the moment that someone gets knocked out and the points stop mattering. I'm wondering what the deviation from this formula might look like. Julia versus Azumi was a fun one, though it got a bit grimier than I had expected. Azumi's matches and performances are usually stunningly clean, dazzling, and technical, and while some of that was here, this one got nasty in just the way Julia prefers. I have a feeling I will appreciate this match more upon future watches, because I like the chemistry these two have as characters. Speaking of which, I really enjoyed how much character Azumi showcased here. She was more invested in this match than she has been in a while. And her star power is really hard to deny, which is saying a lot for someone facing off against Julia, of all people. Afterwards, we are left with no sense of what will be happening with Julia and no sense of what will be happening with Azumi for Dream Queendom. Another strange choice, in my opinion. The Goddess of Stardom title match between Divine Kingdom's Megan Bain and Maika and Aphrodite's Utami Hayashishita and Saya Kamitani played out really well. It was a thoughtful match that helped everyone look good at some point and worked with the everybody is an underdog against Megan Bain concept quite well. The way the finish was engineered was really solid and gave us what I believe is Megan Bain's second ever pinfall loss. Aphrodite could have gotten a lot from a proper build-up to this moment, but there's no doubt that they will carry these titles to an awesome place. In addition, this works as a continuation of their story from earlier in 2023, which culminated initially at Stardom Sunshine. The relationship between Utami and Saya is special, and often feels like a real relationship. I think telling stories that involve both of them just makes sense right now. They are the feel-good tag team of the moment, without a doubt, and their shared presence is going to heal Stardom moving forward. For most people, Suzu Suzuki versus Hazuki was a foregone conclusion, and for most people, it couldn't help but be a high-energy, fun match. That's exactly what it was. with perhaps a few too many forearm exchanges depending on who you ask. They are both super talented and even teased at a rematch, which, among other things, is bolstering my confidence in a Suzuki win at Dream Queendom. I don't want to bog things down yet again with more red belt speculation, but now that the stage is set for Suzu versus Maika in the main event on December 29th, you better believe I'm keeping my eyes peeled for any signs of a telegraphed end result. When the dust settled, 3 matches were solidified for December's Dream Queendom, and at the same time, a lot of wrestlers' names still have question marks behind them. Julia, Shuri, Mina Shirakawa, Starlight Kid, Mei Sarah, Azumi, and many more, including those still out of action such as Mayu Iwatani, Tam Nakano, and Natsupoi. It is very much not clear what the rest of Dream Queendom will have in store, and with less than 4 weeks remaining, I simply don't know what to expect from here. In all honesty, if you can only watch one of Stardom's recent shows, I highly recommend the November 28th Korakuen Hall show over this one. That show, in some respects, had more business being a pay-per-view than Nagoya Big Winter did. It had the vastly better crowd, more matches, the euphoric return of both Sayaka Mitani and Utami Hayashishita, and the absolutely cathartic ascendance of Maika as a fan favorite and force of nature. I still think the Empress might end up getting denied the red belt by Stardom, but the fact that they've given her this much success and these many eye-catching main events is so satisfying and so encouraging. If Maika's fate is to put over one of her colleagues one more time at the main event of a gigantic show, then so be it. Things could definitely be worse. If you found this transmission valuable, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment to let me know what you think. Thanks for listening to Red Belt Radio.